Assalamu alaikum and good morning, dear students. For this week's lesson, we are going to do practice 3 on more word problems. So please get ready with your workbook 3A and turn to page 65 along with your pencils, eraser, and ruler. So let's go to the first question in page 65, where the question says, Ahmad collected 4,250 for a charity. Rina collected 800 more than Ahmad. Okay, so if we do this in bar model, we will have Ahmad with 4,250 and Rina that collected 800 more than Ahmad. So the first question, how much money did Rina collect? So we have 4,250 plus with 800 to get 5,050. And question B, how much money did they collect together? Okay, so altogether means that we have to add. So this is Ahmad's money, which is 4,250, add with Rina's money, which is 5,050 to get 9,300. So Ahmad and Rina collected $9,300 altogether. So now let's go to page 66 on question 2, where Siti had 3,487 coins and Tino had 1,253 fewer coins than Siti. So this is what Siti had in bar model, okay? And this is what Tino had, which is 1,500 fewer coins than Siti. Okay, so we want to find out how many coins does Tino have. So we have to subtract 3,487, which is Siti's coin, minus with 1,253 to get 2,234. So Tino had 2,234 coins. And question B, how much money did they collect altogether? So we have to add Siti's coin, which is 3,487, with Tino's coin, which is 2,234, to get 5,721 coins. So Siti and Tino collected 5,721 coins altogether. Now let's go to page 67, which is question 3, where there are 4,320 books and magazines in a shop. There are 2,169 books and the rest are magazines. So the first question, how many magazines are there in the shop? So we have here total number of books, okay, which is books and magazine, which is 4,320, and there are 2,169 books while the rest are magazines. So we want to find out how many magazines are there in the shop. So what we need to do is you have to subtract the total number of books and magazine, which is 4,320, with the number of books, which is 2,169, to get 2,151. So there are 2,151 magazines in the shop. For part B, there are 1,493 English magazines and the rest are Malay magazines. How many Malay magazines are there in the shop? So just now from part A, we find out that there are 2,151 magazines. So now we know that there are 1,493 English magazines, and we want to find out how many Malay magazines are there. So what we need to do is we need to subtract the total number of magazine, which is 2,151, minus with number of English magazine, which is 1,493, to get 658. So there are 658 Malay magazines in the shop. Now let's go to question number 4 in page 68, where Amira had 1,458 stamps and she had 396 fewer stamps than Zaidi. Okay, so how many stamps did Zaidi have? So what we need to do is you have to add 1,458 with 396 to get 1,854. Okay, so Zaidi had 1,854 stamps. So for part B, how many stamps did they have all together? So all together means we have to add Amira's stamp and Zaidi's stamp. Okay, so we have 1,458 plus 1,854, which is just Zaidi's stamps, to get 3,312 stamps. So Amira and Zaidi collected 3,312 stamps altogether. Now let's go to question number 5 in page 69. There were 1,378 men, okay, at a soccer match. There were 689 fewer women than men at the match. Okay, so we want to find out how many women were there at the match. So we need to subtract 1,378 with 689 to get 689. So there were 689 women. Okay. Now for part B, how many people were there altogether? So we have to add the number of men with the number of women just now to get 2,067 people were there at the soccer match. Now let's go to page 70 of your workbook, where we have question 6. Mr. Muhammad's factory makes 1,793 toys, and his factory makes 157 fewer toys than Mr. Hassan. So if we draw this in bar model, we will have this, where Mr. Muhammad is the purple one with 1,793. And since his factory makes 157 fewer toys, so we put that here. Okay, so we want to find out how many toys does Mr. Hassan's factory make. So we need to add these two numbers. Okay, so we have 1,950 toys that Mr. Hassan made in his factory. So Mr. Hassan's factory makes 1,950 toys. So now let's go to part B. If Mr. Hassan sells 1,698 toys, how many toys does he have left? Okay, so this is what we draw in bar model. Okay, this is what he sold, which is 1,698, and we want to find out how many toys does he have left. From part A just now, Mr. Hassan made 1,950 toys in his factory, and this is what he sold. So how do we find out how many toys he have left? We need to subtract. So 1,950 minus with 1,698 to get 252. So he has 252 toys left.